Debbie Marcoux, licensed by the Department of Financial Institutions and MLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida LO 76508, Georgia 69178, Idaho, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done. When you're in need and don't know where to go, pick up the phone and call Mom.
All right, so welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux, and I am the Mortgage Mom, and I have got Heather Barkley Kilpatrick with me today. How you doing, Heather?
I'm great. How are you, Deb?
Good. I finally said your name in the right order.
You did. After a year and a half.
Oh, no, not a year and a half. I mean,
I'm giving you
How
credit.
long have you been Barkley Kilpatrick?
Since 1995.
Kilpatrick Barkley.
Barkley
Kilpatrick. See? Oh, my God. Since 1995. And trust me, we worked together for that long.
1995.
Anyway.
Almost 30 years. She can't get it right.
I cannot. So we've got Heather on the show today. Today we are going to be talking to you all about transitioning from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And yes, that is correct. It is on its way. It is coming. If you are in a market across the nation that maybe you guys haven't quite felt it yet, it is on its way. The small tidal wave is starting to move across the nation. We are seeing the cooling off of markets from Arizona to Seattle to Las Vegas, definitely California. Yeah. So what exactly does that mean to you? How does that affect you if you are a seller, if you are a home buyer? What are the benefits? What are the tips and the tricks to get your home sold if you're worried that it's going to take you a little bit longer to get the property sold? So this is going to be a great show. Remember that it is interactive. If you have any questions whatsoever, we want to have you put that into the feed. We're going to read those questions and answer them for you. This is a live show. We're recording it live. It is Wednesday. And then the show will then go to radio over the weekend. So for all of our radio listeners, we would love for you guys to join in, be part of the show, pop onto YouTube while we're recording it. We're also on Facebook. We're on Twitch, so that way, anybody that has a platform that they like to use can get on and interact with us. And from any of those platforms, you guys can ask your questions. So we want to make sure that you guys get interactive with us and ask us. The more questions we get, the better that the show is, because there are so many people that probably have the exact same question as you, and we want to get that answer out there for everybody to hear. So Heidi's already jumped on. Heidi says, "Hi, ladies. You both look great." Heidi,
thanks, Heidi.
Thank you so much. Love you for that. Always makes us feel good to see that. If you guys are on and you're watching, but you haven't said anything yet, give us a big thumbs up and a hello. Dad jumps on. He says, "Hello. Hey, Dad. Thanks so much for joining. Love that you are my biggest fan." So today we are going to be talking all about the transition of seller's market to buyer's market. And what does that mean? And I've got Heather here with me because Heather has spent the majority of her career in real estate, which is on the opposite side of me, where I've spent the majority of mine in loans and in mortgage, and both of us have done both sides.
Yes.
So this is a great topic for her to be part of, to be answering questions, to be giving her common knowledge and her 2 cents. So super excited to have you on the show. Really appreciate it. I could see Karen jumped on. That's my wonderful mother-in-law. Karen says 2 cuties. Thank you so much, Karen. Love you for that as well. It's going to be a great show today. Super excited. We have not done catching up with Mom in I don't know how long, because I've been doing so many of these shows by myself that
you
it's
don't
hard.
want to catch up with yourself.
I can't. It's hard to ask myself questions and talk about how was your weekend, right?
So this weekend I did.
So let me tell you all about myself this week. So let's do a little bit of catching up with Mom. Okay, because one of the things I want to talk about is Heather bought a boat.
We did.
And
it was an adventure.
Yes, it was an absolute amazing adventure.
Yes.
So let's just start with bought the boat, got out to Havasu for the first trip.
Had the boat loaded with all the kids. There was probably about 7 or 8 kids on the boat. When I say kids, I mean teenagers. We bought a new surf boat. Absolutely love the boat. Great customer service where we bought it. I don't know if we're mentioning any of that, but
we are. Germain Marine, you guys rock.
Jason's honest best ever. And they were amazing. amazing through this whole ordeal. So had about 7-8 kids on the boat, and we were out there driving, left, where we were staying and headed out to a cove about not even, 10 minutes away, whatever. And went to go put the first kid in the water. And all of a sudden we couldn't go forward. and it was like, okay, what's going on here? And we thought, just maybe it's us. This is a new boat to us. We bought, a wake boat. We weren't really sure. There's ballast, there's this or that. Oh, no. Long story short, the transmission decided not to work. I'll put it nicely. There was a little bit of smoke, a little bit of fire. We had kids in life vests ready to pitch it and swim away from the boat in every direction. And we sat out there for about an hour and a half, circling backwards, because if you have a wake surf boat, that they don't go backwards properly. They circle.
No, when you've got an inboard, it just goes one direction. Yeah.
One direction. Yeah. So we had a little bit of smoke, a little bit of fire. Transmission didn't work. Boat had less than 2 hours on it. Was brand spanking new. Jermaine was awesome. I gotta say with Jason on this one, he literally drove all the way out from Norco and brought us a loaner boat all the way out to Havasu. Took his time. It was over 4th of July weekend. Left his family to do that, and I gotta say thank you so much, just so that my family, would enjoy the holiday, and I absolutely am so appreciative for that.
Yeah, no, they were absolutely awesome. If anybody out there is listening, you guys are in the market for a new boat, Germain Marine is the place to go. Jason Robertson was absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
Obviously, I referred her to him.
Yes.
She buys this boat. The thing doesn't work. And, the fact that he towed you out a loaner boat to take care of you, that was just absolutely amazing. So I can't say enough. However, that wasn't really the good weekend. It wasn't the weekend you guys wanted to have, but you guys finally got it fixed.
We did. We Indmar, which is transmission, they were amazing. Jermaine, coordinated all that. They got us a brand new one that was custom made for us, basically off the line. Got it to Jermaine. They got it in. They were ready, like surgery. The whole thing was open. They were waiting for it. It came. They got it in. We'd left it in Havasu. They have a bunch of different shops. Left it in Havasu for them to fix. We went and picked it up this last weekend. Actually, the weekend before, my husband went and picked it up, and him and his buddies drove it around, and it was working.
Make sure there was no more smoke and fire with
no
the
more
kids
smoke
in the
and
boat.
fire with the kids. Went out this weekend, had just an amazing weekend. So boat's amazing. Kids are so excited. Riley got up surfing. He, smile ear to ear, which is what we wanted as a family. So.
Right. Absolutely. So I had to actually go there with the catching up with mom, because it was such an experience, and it was a long drawn out, like, we bought a boat. Yay. It doesn't work. No. Can we get a transmission? Wait.
Yeah.
They don't have one. They don't know where it is. Oh, wait, we got one. Oh, wait, now it's in. Oh, we got a boat.
Yeah.
So excited for you guys. I'm happy that you had a good time.
And we enjoyed going out with you guys and stuff. And your kids were on the boat with me when it caught fire and started smoking. So
yes,
it was great.
Yeah. So no, I had to do a little catching up with mom and have to give Jermaine a few props and
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So Dad jumped on. You want to know if it's a Switzercraft? No, Dad.
No.
Not a Switzercraft. And Heidi says always something. And yes, it is. Absolutely. And that is part of being a family. And no matter what you do, you're trying to buy things, and hiccups happen, and mistakes happen, and things break. And so, you just got to keep a good attitude. You got to keep rolling forward, make the very best of it, and it will always work out in the end. Just remember, my thing for this week, I'm going to tell you guys, is this too shall pass. Whenever you're having a hard day, a really, really hard day, worried about anything, worried about money, worried about something, it's always this too shall pass. So just please keep that in mind. That's my mom tip of the week.
When you see smoke and fire and you're in the middle of the water and you've got 7-8 kids on a boat, just take a step back, breathe, and go, let's fix this. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I think it was Wyatt. One of them pulled the plug on the brand new fire extinguisher and forgot to put it back in. So when we were cleaning up the boat this week, we had exploded fire extinguisher. So
it happens.
It'll pass.
Yep. All right. So we had Local Trucking of Los Angeles. He jumped on, or she, I don't know if it's a girl or boy.
I think that's David.
Okay. And he says boat means break off another 1,000. And that is, it could not be more accurate. But anyway, that was a fun quick tip of the week, and fun catching up with you, talking about your experience. So what is today really about? This is Mortgage Mom Radio. We talk about all things mortgage and real estate, and we're bringing you guys all the tips and advice that you need. Not advice, tips and education.
Thank you.
I am not a licensed what are they called? Yeah, I'm not an attorney. I'm not investment advisor.
Nope.
I'm not a licensed
Financial
investor.
advisor.
I'm not a financial advisor. Thank you. But I do have quite a few years in this business. And between the two of us sitting on this couch, you've got
Almost
over
60 years.
Yeah, I was going to say you got over 50. You just
Oh, if you're going to push me to 30, I'm pushing you to 60.
yeah, almost 60 years of
Almost
knowledge
60 years.
sitting on this on this couch right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's get into it. We're going to take a
Absolutely.
super quick break, and when we get back, we're going to start talking about the transition, what we're seeing, the different markets. We're on radio in Seattle. We're on radio in Las Vegas. We're on radio in Havasu. We're on radio in LA, Los Angeles, and so we want to make sure that everybody here on our West Coast is hearing everything that they need to hear, whether you're a buyer or a seller. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. It's just going to be a couple seconds, and we'll be right back. All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and today I have Heather Barkley Kilpatrick in with me.
On a roll.
Did I do it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I always turn those around, and I don't know why. I don't know why. Since 1995.
You know what's funny is I got a piece of mail in the mailbox the other day, and it says Heather Barkley. I'm like, oh, this is somebody I went to school with, because for almost 25 years, I've been Kilpatrick, except for you.
Except for
gets
me.
it mixed up, and it was somebody from school.
All right, so back to it. What are we talking about today? We're talking about the transition from a buyer's market or from a seller's market to a buyer's market, and what does that mean?
Yeah.
So the first thing I do want to make sure that I mention to everybody is that we were going to be doing a Homebuyer Workshop this Sunday at 1 p.m. Here at the Mortgage Mom Radio office, and we have canceled that. However, I am still doing the workshop. I will just be doing it here virtually through YouTube. If you are watching the show right now today, you can see how easy it is to put your questions into the comments. I will be able to read them. We're going to still play games. You're still going to have the opportunity to win some prizes, some t-shirts, possibly a free appraisal. We've got some Starbucks gift cards that Go Country was so amazing to actually donate to us to give away for the show or for the actual workshop. So we still want you guys to jump on and be part of that. So it is going to be at 1 p.m. on Sunday, right here live on YouTube. And we will send out a text message in advance to give you guys the link to jump on. It is absolutely free. If you paid money to come in person, because we were going to do all the fun wine and snacks and hors d'oeuvres, that has all been refunded to you. We're not looking to make money on this. We're trying to get the education out to you. So we do want you guys to be part of it. And if you want to make sure that you know when we go live and when we get started on Sunday, make sure that you guys text the word mom to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. That will opt you in so that you do receive our text messages and you will get a link to join. Now, if you got my text message today and that's how you're joining us on the show right now, there's already the link that is there for the future YouTube that is on Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. You can already click on that link. There is nothing there, but there is a notify me button that you can click on, and then YouTube will actually send you a reminder that we're going to be going live so that you don't miss it. So for everybody out there that has been thinking about buying a home, I got to tell you, by the time we're done with this show, I think that you're going to be feeling like it's a good time to get yourself pre-approved, to get yourself ready, and to pounce on a good deal. So definitely, get yourself ready, get yourself prepared, and join us virtually via YouTube, because there's going to be so much great information. And if you're listening by radio and you're listening on Saturday, it's tomorrow, right? So, just get yourself prepared. It does take about 3 hours, man. We're going to go start to finish from the very beginning to how do I get started? What do all these words mean? And we're going to go all the way through loan programs, closing costs. What is a closing disclosure? When do I get my keys? How do you choose the right real estate agent? We're going to hit all of the big topics. So make sure that you guys do give yourselves about 3 hours, because that's what it's going to take us to get from start to finish through the whole presentation. But all along the way, we're going to be answering questions. If I say something that you don't understand, you're going to be able to ask it right in the feed. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be great, just like one of our shows. So make sure, we'd love to have you guys there. Make sure you join us.
And it goes by fast.
It does. Well, there's so
Really
much
fast.
information that
Yeah.
I think that it's
And
kind
the
of
games are
exciting.
fun.
And the games are fun. Yeah, the games are a good time.
Oh, and we just gave him an answer too.
Oh, we did.
Yes.
Yes, we did. We do play games at the very end. We will play a game where you guys have to know the answers to some personal questions about Debbie and Heather.
Yep.
One of those questions is, how much does Debbie's dog weigh?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you guys that answer right now. It's 150 pounds.
She's a big one.
She's a big girl. She's beautiful. She's a Newfoundland. Best dog I've ever had in my life. Now, I do have my little one. I've got my little cocker, and she's great, and she's been around forever. The dog's never going to die.
No.
She is literally just
Old as dirt.
and she's awesome, and I love her. But as far as like with the kids and a family pet, I mean, oh my goodness, my Newfie Nana, she's just amazing.
Or as Jenny calls her, the horse.
The horse, yes, the horse. All right, so back to mortgage real estate. If you guys have questions, you want to call our office, you want to talk to us, it's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. That's how you get us. That's how you give us a call. That's how you talk to us. That's how you get your free consultation and let us answer the questions for you. So, transitioning from a seller's market to a buyer's market. What exactly does that mean? So Heather, when I ask you this question, and again, you guys, we did not practice any of this.
No.
It is totally live. I told her 3 minutes before we started, sit down. This is what we're doing the show about today. But when you hear that, Heather, what does that mean to you? How would you explain to our listeners, what does the transition mean? What is the difference between a seller's market and a buyer's market? So give it to us in plain English.
Okay. So in a seller's market, it's basically what everybody has been seeing for the past couple of years. One, there's not a lot of inventory, so you're less likely to find your perfect home and you're more likely to maybe settle a little bit. Number 2, in a seller's market, the seller can pretty much get the price they're asking for because there's limited inventory. Number 3, the seller's not going to pay any closing costs for you. They're not going to help you as the buyer out in any way while purchasing the home. Number 4, you might be asked to remove contingencies. We've seen this a lot. No appraisal contingencies or no home inspection contingencies, things like that. So sellers really got the edge, or, in the catbird seat, as some people would say, over the buyer.
Right. Now, and in that market, you'd put, you were putting your home on listed for sale. And sometimes before it was even on the MLS, just from the real estate agents talking to each other, within their communities and talking about what listings that they had coming soon. A lot of times things were sold before they were ever listed.
Correct.
If you did list it, you were getting multiple offers. I mean, and when I say multiple, we had seen some homes getting upwards of 30 offers on a home within a day of it hitting the market. There were people writing offers sight unseen, just hoping, to get their offer accepted.
And they were giving everything away to get that offer accepted, over asking, appraisal waivers, not asking for any help with closing costs, nothing. It was whatever the seller wants, I will give them.
Right.
That's your seller's market.
Correct. And so what we're seeing now is that things are slowing down, and we're starting to see more inventory, and we're starting to see homes sit on the market for a little bit longer. And, in that past market, in that seller's market, if you were a first-time buyer and you had a low down payment, you needed an FHA loan, you have 3.5% down and you want to buy a condo and the complex isn't approved, the seller's not going to sit around and wait to get the complex approved in order to, allow you the financing, so they wouldn't accept your offer. If you had a low down payment, they were concerned that maybe your financing wouldn't come through, and they would take someone that had a bigger down payment or maybe paying cash. They would take that offer over yours. If you're, really having a hard time scraping together the down payment, which, let's face it, we talked about it in a couple of episodes back, that the Seattle market is expensive, the Las Vegas market is expensive, Havasu is blown up, California, LA has blown up. So guys, this is not just, a California thing. This is all along the West Coast and most of the United States, but we're talking West Coast right now because this is where our show is at. So, the markets are expensive. So for a buyer to try to scrape together 3 to 5% of a down payment might make it very difficult for them to come up with an additional, $10,000 for closing costs, and so they couldn't ask for the closing costs. They were having a hard time getting offers accepted. And so buyers, if you were feeling that before and you got really discouraged, right now we're moving to a buyer's market. So I'm going to let Heather explain what a buyer's market is, but you're getting an opportunity that didn't exist before. And on top of that, there's about double the homes listed for sale, which means that there's more inventory to choose from. You get a little bit more of a pick of, I don't really like this location, but I like this floor plan. And then you can actually find another property maybe in the same development, same neighborhood, same complex that maybe you like a little bit better. So it's giving you more opportunity. So you go ahead now and explain, what's a buyer's market?
So the shift kind of occurs like we're starting to see now, where you might notice that prices are starting to drop. And when you start seeing like price reductions and things like that, that's your edge right there, that the market's correcting and it's shifting. And honestly, I really don't see like a buyer and seller market at the same time. People have asked that before. It's usually one or the other. In transition, it can be both, but rarely. So when we start coming into the buyer's market, you're going to start seeing sellers reducing their prices, which is what they're doing now. And they're also going to start offering more incentives to you as a buyer to come purchase their home. And what do I mean by that? Basically, they're going to come to you, maybe you bring an offer in and you're going to ask them, to help you with some of the closing costs. And what I mean by that is, and people may not know what closing costs are. As a home buyer, if you're a first-time buyer, in addition to your down payment that you're going to use, depending on the program, you also will have your closing costs, which are your escrow fees, your title fees, your lender fees, appraisal fees, and you're going to have a couple different things there. The seller can help you pay those costs through escrow, and it's considered a seller's credit. And you'll see it read something like seller to credit buyer X amount of dollars towards closing costs, which means the seller's crediting you. And I've seen anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 on up. That can really help you as a buyer get into a home that you couldn't get into before. So now, in addition to the price reductions, you're starting to see those incentives come back. They don't really mind that you have your appraisal contingency in there anymore. They don't really mind that you have your inspection contingency in the offer anymore. Maybe you do an inspection and the air conditioning is broken and you want it refixed. Before, you would have never asked to have it fixed because they would have just canceled you and moved on to the next client. Now they're more inclined to help you do some of those repairs. So again, for a buyer, that's a big help. The closing costs are a big one. A lot of times, if the price adjustments and the price reductions, price improvements, however you want to call it, aren't really helping get that home sold, you're starting to see those buyers offer to buy rates down.
You mean the sellers?
Sellers buy the rates down for the buyers, and they're helping you, through your closing costs. Great opportunities.
Right. No, tons of opportunities. So, one thing that I want to kind of point out that Heather talked about is, number one, sellers. For everybody out there, if you're listening to us, your home is listed for sale. You're noticing that you've been sitting on the market a little bit longer than you anticipated. So there were articles that I was reading just this week. Obviously I'm staying up on the market. I want to make sure we're bringing you valid information as we go. It's very important that I'm bringing you information for all of the markets that we're really focusing in, and everywhere along the way has seen inventory double, if not triple. It depends on your market. So, certain markets are coming up faster than others. So there are more homes on the market. And so what does that mean? So on an average, and I don't want to scare anybody, because people are hearing this show right now and they're thinking, oh my God, the world is falling apart.
No.
Property values are going to drop through the floor. I'm not buying right now. We're going to crash. Okay, guys, we're not going to crash. I'm just going to tell you that right now. We're not going to crash. A normal market would be one that a home would actually take 90 days to sell. 90 days. That is a normal market. That is what we have seen throughout history, other than when we have been in a major crash like in 07 and 08, where there were so many foreclosures and so much inventory. That was taking longer to get homes sold than 90 days. But if the average time in history is 90 days to sell a home, we have to have inventory for 90 days worth of market time.
Right.
Right. Before, we literally had 2 weeks. I believe that it showed 12 days is what we hit when we were at our absolute craziest level over the last couple of years. There was 12 days of inventory. That is nothing. So what you guys have grown accustomed to, what you have been feeling, what you have been seeing, what you have experienced is not the norm. And I just want to make sure you guys are hearing that. That is not normal. The properties that are listed for sale right now, we are at about, I believe it said a 45-day inventory. Again,
right.
every market's going to be a little bit different. There might be markets that have up to 60 right now. So we are still not at a point of a 90-day average market, right? But because the sellers are sitting on the market a little bit longer, because they thought they were going to put their home on the market, get multiple offers, sell their home for the price that they wanted, not budge on their value, and they were very used to whatever the last home sold for that was the most recent comp, they were listing that home at a price above, hoping to be the next highest and best sale in the neighborhood.
Right.
So what they're doing is they're listing their homes at a higher price than the last one that sold. And then after sitting on the market for about 30 days, they're realizing I'm going to have to come down to where the last one sold, right?
Right.
So there are the price reductions, bringing homes back down to kind of where the levels had leveled off before. Now, I did read an article that said that they are anticipating. So one of the questions somebody asked me was, what do you think real estate's going to happen? Where do you think interest rates are going to go? Do you think we're going to see a big decline? And I had actually said I didn't think that we were going to see it in 2022. I didn't think that it was going to be until 23, maybe even 24, that we saw things kind of level off. And one of the articles that I read this week actually is predicting that by mid 2023 that we will see the property values taper off, and that they're expecting about a 5% decline. Okay. So I've given you guys tons of statistics. I've run payments for you. I've shown you what is the difference in a mortgage payment if you buy today at today's interest rates versus buying next year at a lower value by 10% at a higher interest rate. And it was still cheaper monthly to have bought now.
Right.
Right. So I'm reading now, statistics saying that they're anticipating, a level off of about negative 5%. And we do need to have a little bit of a correction. So if you can, right now as a buyer, take advantage of the interest rates that we have today, not where they're going to be in a year from now. And you can go in and you can ask a seller to get some closing costs paid, and you can negotiate a little bit on that price. Then you are actually getting a fantastic deal right now. Like, it's time to pounce is what I'm trying to say. And for sellers, if you've been sitting on the market for 30 days and, you're trying to figure out how do we get our house to be noticed, right? Like Heather mentioned, offering incentive, offering to help that first time buyer, offering to help that vet that is a zero down loan. They can get into a home, but they don't have, the additional 2% for closing costs. Offer a 2 to 3% incentive to your buyer to help them, number one, buy their rate down so that it's an even lower interest rate than what they could get today.
That's going to help them qualify right there.
Right. It's going to help them qualify. It's going to help them be comfortable in your home. It's going to help them get into the property because they've got the cash they need. It's easier to finance $10,000 than it is to come up with $10,000 in cash.
That is a great statement. You know what? I really love that because, and here's the thing is, as a seller, you have to think about it this way. If I have a $700,000 house, let's just say, if I reduce my property $10,000, that takes me to $690,000, right? But it's still going to pretty much be the same for that borrower qualifying. However, if you offer that buyer $10,000 towards their credit, their closing costs, that is going to help them get into your house. They're not having that problem qualifying. They're having the problem with the money. So that's a great, great statement.
Absolutely. So we are going to take a super quick break. Again, this is interactive. So if you have questions, please put them into the feed. Ask them, ask me. I'm going to read them out loud. I'm going to answer them for you. We're going to take a super quick break. And when we get back, we're going to keep talking about the benefits for the buyers and the tips and tricks for the sellers to get your homes to move. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux, and I am the Mortgage Mom, and I have got Heather Barkley Kilpatrick with me. Three for three today. Woohoo! And we are talking all about the transition that we're seeing from a seller's market to a buyer's market, and what does that mean for you? Tons of great things that we talked about right before the break. One thing I do want to remind you guys is that this Sunday, August 14th at 1 p.m., we are doing a Homebuyer Workshop right here on YouTube. It will be live. You will interact. You will play games. You will ask questions, and you are going to learn about buying a home from start to finish. So make sure that you guys do, put that time to the side. You can already find the link for that on my YouTube channel. You can click the notify me to get a notification to remind you that we're getting started. If you want a text message with the link to jump on in, then what you can do is you can actually text the word mom to 844-935-3634. That's 844 we lend for you. WELEND and the number 4. If you text the word mom to that number, you will opt yourself in to know when we go live. You will get a link right as we're getting started so that you can jump on and spend the afternoon with us. So important to get yourself pre-approved. So important to know what you have available to you and what you need to do to get there. So remember, guys, if you're thinking, I'm not going to buy for about another year, I'm not going to buy for probably another year and a half. If you don't know what you need to get there, if you don't know how much money you're going to need, if you don't know what your income needs to look like, if you don't know what paperwork we're going to ask you for, if you don't know what your credit scores need to be, if you don't know what programs are available to help you, then there's no way for you to plan, and you'll never execute it. You'll never get to the finish line. So jump on early, learn, educate, understand. That is what we're here for. That's why we're doing this. So make sure that you guys do jump in and join us. We'd love to have you. The more people on, the more questions that we get, and the better that the actual afternoon goes. So we'd love to see you guys all there. If you have questions for us, you want to talk to us, you want to get pre-approved in advance, you don't have time to do a workshop, you want to talk to somebody, sellers, or if you're thinking about selling and you want us to give you a referral to a fantastic real estate agent in your area, and you want us to help you with some reduced commissions and fees to bring take as much from the home as you possibly can, or you just, in general want some education. All of you guys, buyers, sellers, and refinances. If you guys have been thinking about refinancing, we'll hit on that a little bit too. Call our office. Call us and talk to us. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 we lend for you. WELEND and the number 4. So the same phone number that you text is the same phone number that you call, and it's the best way to get through to us. You can go to the website, mortgagemomradio.com. There is an appointment button there. You can click and you can schedule an appointment for a day and time that works for you. If you don't see a day and time that works for you on that appointment calendar, then please just send me an email to questions@mortgagemomradio.com, or you can do the contact us right through the website, and I will make sure that we get you booked for a time that works around your schedule. So we understand some of you work nights. We understand some of you work early in the day. Some of you work weekends. Sometimes the weekend's the only time to talk. After hours in the evening is better. We are going to accommodate and work around you so that we can make sure that we get those questions answered. So back to the big show today, all about the transition from a seller's market to a buyer's market, and what does that mean for you? So right before the break, we were talking about, a really great incentive that a seller can offer to get their home to stand out in front of another listing would be to offer right out the gates, put it into the MLS, seller willing to, right? Anything in that regard. One thing that we used to see way back in the day, if you remember this, and I'm going back now like 95, 96, 97. Okay. My favorite thing that they used to advertise was seller will give paint and carpet credit. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Flooring or appliances or right.
God, you are going way back.
Right. But it is really important, because if you think about it, as a buyer, again, the buyers, sellers, I hope you guys are listening to me right now. These buyers have to come up with a down payment. We all understand the economy. We all understand, prices, I mean, they're taking personal loans to pay for gas at the pump, right? So, if you understand the economy at this point, everything is more expensive. So trying to save that money for that down payment, now add on the fact that they need to do some upgrades. Maybe you need some carpet, maybe you need some paint in your home, maybe your appliances need to be replaced, maybe that AC unit is on the fritz. Hey, it's working good enough today. The person could move in, but it's going to be something quickly that they'd have to replace. Maybe go out the gates offering those incentives. We'll give credit for, closing costs. We'll give credit for appliances, because that is going, if I'm a buyer and I can barely scrape together the needed funds for the down payment, but I have a seller willing to help me, I am willing to pay more for that home, and I'm going to consider your house, even if it wasn't my favorite, over maybe my favorite that's going to cost me that much more money out of pocket. So it's about making it affordable, and it's about helping the buyer to get into the home. And at the end of the day, still netting the same. So if the last home that sold, just like yours, was $700,000 as an example, and that's the number that you used earlier, right? And you're going to give somebody $10,000 in incentive, then now you're netting $690, right? It's no different than if you do a price reduction to $690, but that is $10,000 that a buyer didn't have to come up with cash out of pocket. So, and I'm not saying that closing costs are $10,000. Closing costs are based on the sales price. The title fees are different. Escrow costs are different. Everything is different based on the actual price that you buy the home for. I'm just giving an example. It's an easy round number to give an example of.
I always tell people I like round numbers.
Right. and if you think about the average home price, especially here on the West Coast, okay, again, we're in Las Vegas, we are in Lake Havasu, we are in Seattle, and we are in Los Angeles. The average price of a home in all of those markets combined, I would say, is probably $700,000.
Probably.
Right? You could probably find things for less expensive than that. You could definitely get into condominiums for less expensive than that. Right. But that's a good, maybe even $600, right? If we're just going to go on the actual average. And if closing costs are on average about 1.5% to 2% of the sales price, you can see why we're just kind of throwing that $10,000 number out there. So just as an example, it's, we're in the studio, we're filming. It's an easy way to keep it straight in our head. But sellers, you've got a great opportunity right now to help a buyer to get in, to stand out in front of the others that are still pretty stubborn and stuck on their price and still holding out for their top dollar. And you know what? Move your home, move the house, get it sold. And buyers, jump on it. This is an amazing opportunity for you to be able to have more leverage, like Heather talked about, being able to keep those appraisal waivers in there. And let's talk about FHA, okay? Because for the longest time, I love FHA loans. I absolutely do. But many times, if you're an FHA buyer and you're in a condominium price range, it's difficult to get an offer accepted if the condominium complex is not already FHA approved. So there aren't very many.
No.
Talk a little bit about that.
So here, the biggest thing is I don't think buyers understand that when you're looking at a townhome or a condo, in order to do an FHA loan or sometimes even a VA loan, that association for that condominium complex or townhome complex has to be approved by FHA and VA. And if they are not approved, we can't do FHA or VA loans in them. As realtors, they have to bring in conventional offers, which makes it harder for a seller when you're cutting out 2 other loan programs. But we can make that easier for you. You want to tell them?
Sure. So yeah, we can do spot approval. So
spot approvals.
VA, they don't have a spot approval process. The VA, we would still have to get the complex fully approved, but that is something that our team has been doing for years. We're very good at it. We recently just did a condo approval in Los Angeles. Many lenders won't do it because it is very difficult. They'll get them started, but then they get hung up and it doesn't get finished. Same thing with FHA. If you are an HOA president of your complex, you guys should be reaching out to us and talking to us about how we can actually help your complex get fully FHA or VA approved, because that will help the retail or sales, that will help the turnover for all of the owners in the complex. It will help it be easier to sell the units. But with FHA, we do have what's called a spot approval. So we can do one unit at a time rather than an entire complex. And that actual transaction, that piece, that spot approval piece, takes about 10 days. So it's going to take about 10 days longer for your home to sell or for your condo to sell if we have to do a spot approval, if your condo complex is not already approved. But that is 10 days. That is better than sitting on the market waiting for a conventional buyer when you have an FHA buyer that is ready, willing, and able to buy your home right now. So if it just means that you need to give somebody an extra 10 days in order to close the deal, absolutely
Totally worth
think
it.
about it. And FHA buyers, you guys have probably been told 100 times,
Yeah.
it's got to be FHA approved or I can't show it to you. It's got to be FHA approved or I can't show it to
Yeah.
you. Get a different real estate agent. Get a different realtor.
Even as a seller, if the realtor comes in, they should know right off the bat whether or not whether your property is FHA and VA approved. And if they're not, don't let them tell you that, oh, we can't take FHA or VA offers. Totally not true. Give us a call. We'll get the complex approved, get you more opportunities for more buyers. It's probably going to net you a higher sales price because you're making your pool of buyers a lot bigger than just a conventional. At the same time, like Deb was just saying, if you're a buyer and you're being told, I'm not showing you in there because you have an FHA loan and they don't take FHA, wrong. Call us. Let's get you in there. Let's look at it. Let's see what it is. And maybe we can spot approve it. You just need that extra 10 days. And I bet you if you bring a good offer to that seller, they will absolutely give you that 10 days that you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Again, we want you guys to ask your questions. We want you to be
I know they have
interactive.
questions.
You know that they do.
I
so
know.
Make sure you guys are putting that into the feed. Ask us those questions. We're happy to answer them for you, read them out loud and answer them. If you have a question, so does somebody else. If you are listening to this show by radio and you're wondering, how do you get your questions answered? Number one, you can call the office right now.
I'll answer 'em.
And you can talk to somebody. So it's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Or you can text MOM to that same phone number and it will opt you in so that you do know when we go live and you can actually be part of the show during the week when we're filming, asking your questions, getting them answered. And then obviously we take the sound and it goes to radio. So we want you guys to be involved. We want you to be part of it. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to continue talking about the market, the changes, the shifting. And I have huge news about interest rates. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux, and today I have Heather Barkley Kilpatrick.
4 for 4.
4 for 4, and she is here with me, and that is because she has spent a good majority of her
Career.
30 years.
I knew it was
30
coming.
years.
60 combined.
On the real estate side, I've spent the majority of my career on the mortgage side. So between the two of us, you guys are getting fantastic information and education all about real estate and mortgage. And today we're talking about the shift and the cooling off of the housing market and what's happening with buyers and what's happening with sellers and, what's happening with prices and, how much inventory is there. And so this is a great show. I think it's very important for you guys to hear, listen, whether you're a seller, whether you're a buyer. This is all fantastic information for you guys to have. Want to remind you that we've got our Homebuyer Workshop this Sunday. So if you want to be involved, you want to join in, it is absolutely free. You get to play the games. You get to be involved. We're going to take you from start to finish right here on YouTube. You get to ask your questions, be interactive right into the feed. So if you would like that information and you want to be part of the day, text the word MOM to 844-935-3634, and that will opt you in. We will get you a link out right as we get started on Sunday afternoon. It is Sunday, August 14th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So we want you guys to be involved in that as well, because buyers, it is time to get yourself ready. There are some hot smoking deals out there. And right before we went to break, I said, hey, we've got big interest rate news. And so I wanted to make sure that we do touch on that because interest rate news is really important. You guys have been hearing us boo-hoo for the last couple of years about how interest rates have been going up. They're going up. They're going up. The Federal Reserve is increasing the prime rate. We've seen our rates change. Okay, so the last show that I did, we talked about, it actually wasn't the last show. I think it was the week before, but it was when the Federal Reserve was due to make their announcement on Wednesday, and they were planning to increase the rates by 3/4 of a point. And I sat in front of you guys and I said, we have already built in the 3/4 point anticipation that's coming. If it goes up more than 0.75%, we might see rates go up. If it comes in less than 0.75%, we might see interest rates go down. But we have already built in the rates, and I don't expect or anticipate that we're going to see a huge change from the result of that announcement. So what actually happened, they raised the rate. Yep, took it up the 3/4, and it was exactly the 3/4. It wasn't the 1 point.
No.
And what actually we saw, which is fantastic, is that we saw interest rates come down. We've probably improved by about 1/4% in rate, if not maybe 3/8, 0.375. That's pretty huge when we're talking fives to now high fours, right? So we actually saw improvement. And why did we see improvement? Well, we saw improvement because once these short-term rates, I sat again in front of you guys and I said, we're going to see home equity lines of credit increase. We're going to see credit cards increase. We're going to see short-term loans like auto loans and student loans, interest rates go up. So what the investors decided to do was put their money into longer-term bonds, longer-term mortgages. And so that actually gave us some improvement. So the nice thing is that if you were talking to us maybe
2 weeks ago,
maybe 2 weeks ago, and we were talking an FHA loan and you have a decent credit score, that interest rate might have been, 5.25, maybe 5.5. Today we're maybe 4.75 to 5%. That is a huge difference when it comes to how much can you qualify for, how much is your monthly payment. That can definitely, depending on your loan size, change that mortgage payment pretty significantly. So we have seen that really nice adjustment here over the last couple of weeks. And so we're hoping to see now things stabilize and kind of stay stable until, they obviously make another announcement of some sort that might, change the needle a little bit. But this has been a nice release. So who does this help? Okay, well, obviously it helps buyers, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Always.
Okay. But let's talk about those people that are looking to take cash out of their home and they've got an interest rate today, maybe about 3.5%. That's probably a pretty average rate for somebody that bought a house or refinanced over the last couple of years, but now they need cash out. They need to do home improvements. They need to buy out a co-owner. They need to pay off some debts. Whatever that it might be that they need that cash for. They want to build a swimming pool. We see that a lot right now. They want to add an addition. They want to put on an extra bathroom or an extra bedroom. So whatever it might be that you need that cash out for, right now might not be a bad time to do your cash out refinance.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, if you have a home equity line of credit and you owe $100,000 on that home equity line and you've recently taken it, we do home equity lines of credit. If you guys need them, call us. We're happy to write them for you. But those home equity lines of credit are going to keep going up with the Federal Reserve prime rate. So you're going to see the money that you owe. It's going to continue to go up. The minimum payment's going to go up. If it's an equity line, you're not making anything towards actually paying it down because
interest only.
Right. Your payment's interest only. After 10 years, it's going to turn into either a mortgage or it's going to be due in full. You've got to refinance it anyway. So when we take a blended rate on a home equity line, and let's say that rate might be 9% or 10% or 12%, and we blend it with your 3.5% that maybe you have on your first mortgage at $500,000 or $400,000, you might be at a blended rate of 4.25, 4.5, 4.75. So if you could actually do a refinance to pull the cash out, have it all on a 30-year note, all in one fixed rate mortgage, that might be the way to go. And it's probably the healthiest way to go, the most secure You don't have to worry about payments changing or going up. So even somebody, homeowner that owns a home and has been thinking about getting cash, just know that we've had a nice little dip in the rates, and this might be a really good time, especially if you looked into it about 30 days ago and you didn't like the rates that you heard. It might be a good time for you to look into it again. Reach back out, talk to us, ask us. Let's run the numbers and see where you might be. Somebody that has a first mortgage and a home equity line of credit right now, look at your equity line of credit. See what that interest rate is, or your home equity loan. See what those interest rates are on that money. You might want to consider consolidating and then putting that together. Why would you want to consolidate today rather than maybe waiting till next year or the year after? Well, before break, we talked about, they still are saying that next year rates will probably be higher, but let's put that to the side. Let's pretend rates don't change. Why would you want to do it now versus later? We just talked about how statistics are showing that they're expecting and anticipating a negative, 5% in values. So property values are going to kind of adjust. They're going to flatten out for a little bit. We might see negative 5% at the most. That's at least what the experts are saying today. I'm just repeating what I read. But if your value does go down in your home, then you are not going to have the opportunity to possibly consolidate. You may not have the opportunity to pull out the cash. So when we do a cash out refinance, what are we looking at, Heather? What is the most important piece of the refinance when we're looking at how much cash can you get out?
What is the value of your home?
Right. So if the value of your home goes down, then obviously you can't get as much out. So now let's talk about, hypothetically, you have a first and a second is a home equity loan or a home equity line. You have a first and a second, and you decide you'd really like to get those things consolidated. The Federal Reserve has raised the prime rate. Your equity line's starting to scream up there. You don't like the payment. Maybe you're coming up to your note, your balloon, it's due, and you've got to get that thing paid off. We can't do a cash out refinance above 80% unless you're a vet. Okay. So vets, you guys, all day long, we can help you guys at a higher loan to value. But if you are not a vet, there is not a cash out refinance that we can do that is going to go above 80% for you. So if your property value drops, then we may not have the opportunity to get that second paid off. If your second note or your balloon comes due and you don't have the equity to refinance it anymore, what happens? Right?
You're stuck with the interest rate.
Well, not only that, but if your note and your balloon comes due, what happens? And you don't have the equity to refinance it.
You can't refinance it. You're stuck with the higher interest rate, and you're going to be stuck with that higher payment.
Right. Or you've got a note that's due that you have no way to pay back.
You have no way to pay back. Yeah.
Right. So it is really important that you guys are thinking about your future. We did get a nice little break in the rates, which is awesome. Definitely reach out if you've been thinking about doing any financing whatsoever. We are here to help you. It is definitely shifting, guys. The transition is coming. I've got, an article right here in my hand. You guys can see it. I printed it out just 2 days ago. Seattle housing market 2022 prices, trends, and forecast. Seattle housing market cooling down. I pulled another one. Las Vegas market cooling down. California market cooling down. Lake Havasu market cooling down. All of the markets that we're in on radio, they're all cooling down. Cooling down doesn't mean that they're dropping crazy. No. Cooling down doesn't mean that we're going to have the rug pulled out from underneath of us and we're going to crash. What it means is that we're starting to get back to some normal territory. We're going to have some normal time frames, some normal inventory levels. It's going to be an inventory that should last about 90 days for you to be, listed for sale on the market and then sold. And it is something that I think that sellers, you guys got to get ahead, get a jump on it, start offering the buyers some incentive to help them get into your home, make your home more attractive. Buyers take advantage of the fact that the, sellers are sitting a little bit longer, that there is more opportunity there for you. Learn what you need to do, get yourself pre-approved, start shopping for the home, and especially since we've had a nice little dip in the rates here over the last couple of weeks. So again, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, give us a call. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND LEND, and the number 4. We're working in all of the markets that we're talking about. We're working in Arizona. We're working in Las Vegas. We're working in Washington. We're working in California. We've got, I think I have 13, almost 14 states at this point. Just
if you
finished.
have a question, call.
Yeah,
Ask us.
We just took on Missouri, which is great. That's super exciting. So we have got a lot of states, a lot of licenses. If you've been thinking about selling, you're thinking about relocating, going to another state across the country, it is much easier to talk with us, deal with us, let us help you get there. And we're probably going to be capable of helping you in the state that you're moving to. So.
And one thing too is people don't realize is if we qualify you for California and you decide to go to Nevada or Arizona or somewhere else, that qualification stays with you. You don't have to pre-qualify again. It goes wherever you go, as long whatever state, as long as we're licensed there.
Right. Well, and it's kind of like your client right now, where he started off wanting to buy here, then he was thinking Texas, and now he's thinking Florida.
Yep.
And we've got all those licenses. So if you're wondering where we can help you at, just reach out. Happy to give you that list of states, but there's a lot of them. A lot of states that we can help you guys in to make sure that you can get your journey done, no matter what it is, whether you're wanting to relocate, whether you're staying local. But let's get you in. Mom says it's time to buy. Sellers, let's get you guys sold. Reach out to us. Let us help you. That's what we're here for.
Get creative.
Yes, get creative and let us help you get creative.
Yeah.
It's 844-935-3634. Look forward to seeing all of you guys on the 14th at 1 p.m. right here on my YouTube channel for that Homebuyer Workshop. And we'll be back again next week. Talk to y'all real soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Debbie Marcoux, licensed by the Department of Financial Institutions and MLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida LO 76508, Georgia 69178, Idaho, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done. When you're in need and don't know where to go, pick up the phone and call Mom.